Hi, and welcome to Talkin Horses. On this show, we'll be discussing many horse topics: herd dynamics, riding, grooming, groundwork, body language, and most importantly, safety. You can be sure that if it has to do with horses, we'll be talking about it. Our focus will be on natural horsemanship, the language and communication that's natural for the horse. We're going to have loads of fun playing with and developing a great relationship with one of the most magnificent creatures on the face of the earth, the horse. Hi everyone, I'm Eileen Shanahan, and today we'll be talking horses with Elaine Cardillo. How are you doing, Elaine?
Good, Eileen. How are you?
Doing great. We are at L&L Farm in Bating Hollow, New York. Chilly day, but we're still talking horses. It's a nice day, chilly, but nice. Today we're going to talk about and demonstrate several things. We're going to talk about the nature of the horse. You're going to demonstrate how to properly catch your horse, and also how you properly introduce yourself to a new horse. But before we get into all that, let's talk about yourself. You've been riding and teaching horses for many years, and you've studied with some of the greats: Pat Pirelli, Monty Roberts, Mark Rashid.
Yeah, my passion for horses started when I was born, and when I was first born, I think, is when I just started loving horses. And I've been riding all my life. Pretty much started lessons when I was about 9 years old, like most kids, and was a barn rat for a while, and worked at the barn to pay for my lessons. And as time went on, I just became more and more fascinated with them. And it wasn't until 2001 when I read Monty Roberts' first book, The Man Who Listens to Horses, and that just opened up a whole new world as far as a different way of communicating with horses. And it really sat well with me as to how to approach horses. So I ended up going to his school, took a year-long program, and it was then that I realized just how much I didn't know about them, and it was just, this whole world was opening up to me. So I started to study with other great horsemen and just went around the country attending workshops and clinics and schools and picking and choosing what worked for me in an effort to develop my own style. And the more I learned, the more I realized how much I still don't know.
Well, with all your experiences out there with learning from all these great horsemen, you have learned that before you even get on a horse, you need to know about horse behavior, that how important that is. All your students, before they even get on, they need to understand this.
Absolutely.
During this series, we're going to reflect on horse behavior and everything, but for now, can you give us a basic overview of the nature of the horse?
Sure. The basic overview would first consist of the prey-predator relationship, because all horses are prey animals, meaning that they are the type of animal that gets eaten by other animals. So deer, horses, chickens.
We need to understand that,
Right.
especially because we're predators.
Absolutely.
And so it's a sort of an unnatural relationship.
It's a whole different mindset. And so, you can always tell a prey animal because they always have eyes on the side of their head, so that they can see around them. A horse can see almost 360 degrees around him, and that's for safety, because he needs to see if there's any predators coming out of the bushes. And so as a result of that, they are always on high alert. They're always aware of everything going on around them. And it would be like you or me walking down a dark alley in New York City late at night. All of a sudden, all of our senses would be heightened. We'd be listening to sounds, we'd be looking at shadows, we'd be on high alert. And this is how they live their lives every single day. And yet they still have to function with us in the meantime.
And their senses are incredibly sensitive. Touch,
everything.
Hearing.
They can feel a fly land on them, and they can twitch their skin to get it off. So they can, as far as hearing, they're able to hear sounds up close. They can hear sounds very far away. Same thing with smells. So it's a whole different mindset, and the way they see is so different than we see. I mean, they've got that huge blind spot in front of their face. I always tell kids, if you hold your hand up to your nose like this, you can get an idea of how a horse sees everything. So
that's pretty.
Yeah.
It's a little open, and yet they go over jumps because we ask them to.
Amazing.
Yeah. So they're also flight animals too. I mean, that's part of their survival.
Right, and basically the flight instinct comes from the right side of their brain. Just like humans, horses have two sides of their brains. And their right side of the brain is the reactionary side. It's the side that pumps up adrenaline, tells the horse to run in fear, and ask questions later. The left side is the side that is the calculating side. It's the thought process side. It's the side that you notice when you see a horse using his lips to open the latch on a gate and spending hours doing that. And that's the side that you want to have working when you're trying to teach a horse anything. If you try to teach a right-brained horse, you're not going to get
It's
anywhere.
just not going to happen.
No.
Yeah, and it's because a lot of times the human will think, oh, my horse is so stupid. And it's not stupid. It's actually survival.
It
and
can't
then,
absorb
yeah,
the information.
Right,
Exactly.
Right. It has to, yeah, exactly. It has to absorb the information, and if it's running from a paper bag, it has no idea that that paper bag isn't going to kill it. So that's why, you know, they're not stupid. They're actually smart.
They are very smart, and the more you work with them, the more you realize that.
There's also talk about the herd dynamic briefly.
Herd dynamics is another important aspect of understanding horsemanship, because every horse has his position in the herd, and it doesn't matter if it's a wild herd or a domestic herd, a herd of 2 horses or a herd of 100 horses. Every horse knows his number in that herd. There's always the number 1 horse, and then number 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down the line. What happens is in horseland, every day horses play games with each other. They play dominance games to try and figure out if they can change their position and get a little closer to that number 1 spot, or perhaps even get to be that number 1 spot. And if I'm a horse and you're a horse and I want to be more dominant, I'm going to try and get you to move without me moving my own feet. And if I can do that,
Try it.
Yeah. You're a tough mare. But if I can do that, I just came up 1 notch on the leadership role.
Now, we humans, it's very important working with our horse that we need to be that leader.
Absolutely, yeah, because the horse needs to trust you. And horses are natural followers. They don't always necessarily want to be the leader. A lot of times they feel that they have to do it because they have no other choice. And if you're the type of human who is wishy-washy with your requests with them, or you overreact to what they're doing, they're going to lose confidence in you. And if they lose confidence, they're going to feel that they then have to be the leader, and they start making up their own rules. And they're really doing it out of their own self-preservation, not to be defiant to us or disrespectful. It's just their way of protecting themselves.